First, in Texas, we're riding with Jack Thompson, who's hauling a massive machine. His destination? A ferry. But the question is, will he make it in time? Then in Kansas, Rib Mitchell finds himself in a tight spot, getting into a minor accident while attempting a wide turn. Can he get back on track?
I don't believe
And
this.
finally, up in Alaska, Jim Walker takes on one of his toughest hauls yet, transporting a huge boat on rough roads. He's unsure if this load will make it to its destination.
Hi, my name is Joel and you are on X199.
Jack Thompson is driving one of the classics on the road today, the Kenworth K100E. This legendary model, although older, has been kept in excellent condition, still proving to be a favorite among truckers. With a Cummins I'm15 engine, delivering 500 horsepower and 2,237 Nm of torque at 200 RPM, the K100E has the power and durability needed to take on any challenge. Equipped with an Allison TC10 10-speed transmission and a 6.4 drivetrain, it gives Jack the control and power he needs to get the job done.
I've been doing this for a few years now, driving this old Kenworth, going from one place to the next. And I gotta say, I love what I do. The open roads, the freedom, the power of this truck in my hands. That's what keeps me going, but man, it ain't easy.
Today, Jack's mission is to haul a knuckle boom loader, a 13-ton heavy machine. This is a large and complex load requiring skill and patience. The final destination is a ferry, where the equipment will be loaded onto a boat. For a job like this, it's not just about brute strength. It's about experience and precision, something Jack and his K100E have in abundance. As Jack approaches the knuckle boom loader, the size of the load already signals that this won't be an easy task. With a machine this big, Jack needs to be extremely precise. As he backs up, he aligns with the trailer, never taking his eyes off the mirrors. This is where Jack's years of experience come into play. For Jack, it's not just about hauling heavy loads, but mastering the art of maneuvering a truck as large as the K100E with surgical precision. He knows that any mistake could mean lost time and money. With calm and care, he adjusts the steering and the transmission to ensure everything is perfectly in place. Once the machine is on the trailer, Jack secures it tightly, double-checking every chain and strap. He knows the roads ahead won't be easy, and the 13-ton load has to stay secure the entire way. Now with the load ready, it's time to head for the ferry. Now we head to Kansas, where Rib Mitchell is preparing for his next haul. Rib, with over 3 decades of experience, knows these roads like the back of his hand. He's driving the powerful Western Star 5700 XE, a truck built for heavy-duty hauls. Under the hood is a Detroit DD16 engine, packing 600 horsepower and 2,779 Nm of torque at just 1,200 RPM. The 12-speed Detroit DT12 transmission, paired with its 6x4 drivetrain, gives Rib the control and strength needed for the tough job ahead. Today, Rib's challenge is to transport another truck, a heavy, bulky load that will sway and test his skills along the way. It's the kind of job where years of experience come into play, and Rib is the right man for it.
Kansas. I've been driving these roads since I was 18. There's something about this flat land, the open sky. It's peaceful, but it keeps you on your toes too. I've seen storms roll in out of nowhere, and sometimes the wind just won't let up.
Now, we're heading to the rugged terrains of Alaska, where Jim Walker is about to take on one of the biggest hauls of his life. At the port, Jim watches as an enormous boat is lowered onto his trailer, almost in disbelief at the sheer size of the load. But if anyone's ready for this challenge, it's Jim Walker. He's driving the mighty Kenworth 963, a 6x6 beast built for the toughest conditions. Under the hood, a Cummins 915 engine delivers 600 horsepower and 2,779 Nm of torque at 1,200 RPM, while the Clark PowerShift transmission gives Jim the control he needs on Alaska's muddy and treacherous roads. This truck is made for dirt, mud, and rough terrain, a machine of sheer power in the hands of a cowboy. Jim's heading out for a long journey across the Alaskan wilderness, transporting the boat to another port weeks away. It's going to be tough, but Jim's ready for anything.
I've seen some big loads in my time, but this boat, it's something else. But I ain't scared. I've ridden bulls bigger than me in rodeos, and trust me, they're a lot harder to handle than this truck.
Jack Thompson, steady as always, arrives at the ferry with his oversized load. This is where precision matters the most. He's guided carefully onto the ferry, making sure every movement is smooth. The knuckle boom loader, weighing in at 13 tons, must be securely transported by sea, but first, it's up to Jack to park it perfectly. It's not just about getting the job done, it's about making sure it's done right. The road ends here for now, but the journey continues across the waters.
I've driven this old Kenworth across a lot of rough roads, but this ferry ride's always a bit tricky. One wrong move and you're looking at a real mess. It's all about patience. You can't rush this kind of thing. You take it slow, one step at a time, and let the truck do the heavy lifting.
Now, we're back in Kansas with Rib Mitchell, who's picking up his next load, a truck that's as heavy as it is unstable. The challenge with this haul is how much it sways. Rib's experience will be put to the test as he secures the load and prepares for the road ahead. With over 30 years behind the wheel, Rib knows how to handle these tricky jobs. Every strap and chain is carefully placed, because once he's moving, any mistake could make things much harder. For Rib Mitchell, this load isn't causing any issues. His years of experience are paying off, and so far, everything's running smooth. The swaying truck isn't a problem for someone who's been doing this for decades. But in Alaska, things are not going so well. Jim Walker's facing a much tougher challenge. The massive boat he's hauling is towering over his Kenworth 963, and the narrow, muddy roads are making it nearly impossible to maneuver. Jim's struggling to keep his truck from sinking or tipping over. It's a real fight out here in the Alaskan wilderness. As if the narrow, muddy roads weren't enough, the rain starts to pour, turning the dirt into thick sludge. The Kenworth 963 is working hard, its tires fighting to grip the slick ground, but the weight of the massive boat and the height of the load make every turn a challenge. The rain is relentless, soaking the path and making it even harder for Jim to keep the truck on course. The heavy load shifts with every bump and dip, and Jim can feel the trailer tugging at the truck, threatening to pull it off balance. It's a battle to keep everything steady, especially with the road barely wide enough for the rig. One wrong move, and the whole thing could slide off the edge or sink into the mud. Jim's grip tightens on the wheel as the Kenworth powers through, its engine roaring against the resistance of the road and the rain. This kind of drive isn't just about skill, it's about determination, grit, and a little bit of luck. As Jim presses on, the road takes a steep, slippery incline. The rain's made the path slick, and halfway up the hill, the unthinkable happens. The heavy boat shifts, leaning dangerously to one side. The trailer skids toward the edge of the road, sliding into a ditch. For a moment, it feels like everything might go over.
Wow. Almost tipped it.
Jim Walker's situation has gone from bad to worse. With the rain pouring down and the road turning to mud, his trailer has slid into a ditch, teetering on the edge of disaster. The massive boat he's hauling is leaning heavily to one side, and any sudden movement could send it tipping over. Jim knows he's got no room for mistakes.
The trailer fell into a water ditch right on the edge of the road when I tried to make a wide turn. It was close, real close. Almost lost the whole load there. If that thing had gone over, there's no getting it back easily.
Jim's facing some real challenges out in the cold Alaskan mud, fighting to keep control of his rig. But while Jim's battling the cold and rough terrain down in Texas, Jack Thompson is taking things easy for a moment. After a long stretch on the road, he's making a strange but peaceful stop to take a dip in the sea.
I love swimming. Nothing better after a long drive.
Even with over 30 years of experience, Rib Mitchell knows that sometimes the unexpected can happen. What was supposed to be a routine wide turn has suddenly turned into a disaster. Rib opened the curve to the left, giving his rig enough space to make the turn. But in that split second, a car misjudged his intentions and tried to squeeze through on the inside. The result, a collision that no one saw coming. The damage is clear: a totaled car, a damaged trailer, and an accident that brings everything to a halt.
I don't believe this.
For a trucker, accidents like these are a nightmare. The costs are enormous, from repairing the car to fixing the trailer, not to mention the time lost on the job. Rib will have to stop everything to assess the situation and figure out what went wrong. This time his years of experience couldn't prevent the mistake.
That driver had no business cutting in like that. I had my signal on. I was making the turn. He just came barreling through, didn't even stop to think.
It doesn't quite look like Rib was in the right here, but that's the way Rib operates. He's been behind the wheel for decades, and in his mind he knows what he's doing. Still, even the most seasoned truckers can get caught in a situation like this. Jim Walker stumbles upon a harsh reminder of the dangers these roads hold. As he rounds a corner, there it is. One truck tipped over and blocking the narrow path. A fellow trucker didn't have the same luck. And the sight is a sobering one. It's a stark warning of just how unforgiving these conditions can be. For Jim, it's a moment to reflect. He knows that one wrong move, one miscalculation, and it could easily be him in the same position. Out here, the roads aren't just rough, they're treacherous. The cold, the mud, and the relentless terrain take their toll, and only the most skilled and prepared truckers can hope to make it through unscathed.
Out here in the wild, nature doesn't play favorites. It's brutal on the animals, and it's just as tough on us. That truck over there, that's proof. One slip, and it doesn't matter how strong or skilled you are, this place will bring you down.
Jack Thompson's journey through Texas couldn't have gone smoother. From crossing ferries to driving along the coast, everything seemed to fall into place. Even with a heavy, oversized load, the Kenworth K100E handled the job with ease, and Jack's expertise behind the wheel made it all look simple. After parking the truck at the final destination, it was clear this was a job well done. The maneuver to dock the trailer was precise and effortless, just like the rest of the trip. Jack even had time to take a break by the water, enjoying a swim, a rare luxury for a trucker on the road. His calm demeanor throughout the journey showed just how experienced he is. He faced no major obstacles, and as a result, Jack not only completed the job, but earned himself a nice paycheck in the process. For Jack, this wasn't just another day on the road, it was the kind of trip every trucker hopes for. No surprises, no headaches, just a smooth ride from start to finish. And as he packs up for the next haul, there's no doubt in his mind that he'll be back out here again, doing what he loves and making it look easy.
Well, looks like I made it here earlier than expected. Got the job done without a hitch. And now I've got some time to head home and see my family. It's been a while, and I'm looking forward to spending some time with them. I gotta say, I'm thankful to God for keeping this trip smooth.
As Jim finally spots the city on the horizon, a wave of relief washes over him. For now, it's a sign of peace, a brief moment of rest after the long, grueling haul. But it's just that, a moment. His journey is far from over. Like Rib, Jim still has a long road ahead, and both of them will face new challenges before their work is done. In the next episode of Road Warriors, will Rib be able to finish his journey and still turn a profit? And will Jim's path ahead be even tougher than what he's already faced? Don't miss the next episode of Road Warriors.